Well, greetings to you. This is a little clip that I hope is going to be of interest to a number of my subscribers who I know are ex-military and get as frustrated as I do about politicians' complete and total misunderstanding of how the military works. Now, just look at this little clip from Andrew Bridgen in Parliament asking Grant Shapps, our Defence Secretary, God help us all, about wokery in the army and wokery in recruitment.
Speaker, the rise of so-called woke culture has been infecting our society for many years, and it should be unsurprising that it's now infecting our military. Does the Minister think that the rise of woke makes it easier or more difficult to recruit the right sort of people into our armed forces?
Well, I completely reject the premise of my honourable friend's question. If he's talking about increasing the amount of women in our armed forces, if he's talking about Lord Etherton's review into LGBT historically in our armed forces, if he's talking about our ambition to make our armed forces more reflective of the society from which they're drawn and which they serve, then, Mr. Speaker, I'm as guilty as charged.
And his response shows how little he understands of the military. He thinks that you recruit your military from a background reflective of your society. And I saw this mistake coming long time ago. That is not how you benchmark your army. If you want it to benchmark society, you're going to have at least 50% women, 10% non-British or immigrants, so on and so forth. Now, that is not how you judge your army. That is not your bench, and your benchmark is your potential foeman. That is your benchmark. So you need to have a complete and total meritocracy. That is why the Russian Federation army is doing so well. It's because it is a meritocracy. It is trained to purpose, fit for purpose, and that's the key to success in an army. Any army. It isn't to reflect society. It's got nothing to do with wokery or reflecting diversity. It's there to beat the foeman. It's there to beat the enemy. And that's what it's all about. And if you don't understand that, your army will start to degrade, as our army is now degrading. And with your officer corps, and I say this again, it annoys some people, you should draw your officer corps from people with the right educational qualifications from school at 18 or 19 and give them to the military or the army to train without the interference of wokery and political fashion. So that when you have your young man of 21 as a very young one-pip officer, a young fellow, he's then fit to take under command his platoon or his troop, with, of course, the great assistance of his more experienced non-commissioned officers. You do not want somebody straight from university who's going to burst into tears every 5 minutes because he's just not used to doing this or not used to doing that or not used to being told whatever it is. They absorb wokery at universities, and you don't want them as officers. Officers have to have a very focused mind, very meritocratic, and understand what their job is. And they're not there to reflect society. They're there to beat the foe. Think on, Grant Shapps, or you'll have no army left at all. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research-based. And I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I automatically share it with you. So, surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.